How's it going, Top Forest TV? My name is Jack, and welcome to my preview for the Nottingham Forest versus Hull City game taking place at the City Ground. Well, as things stand, on Saturday. Obviously, with COVID and things, and games being postponed and things like that. As it stands, for me currently recording this, Forest are still going to be going ahead with their game, but anything can change between now and Saturday, I suppose. Yeah, Hull at home. A game that I think we should be winning. Obviously, Hull, I looked at the last 5 games, unbeaten in the last 5. Could be unbeaten in more, but I only sort of looked at the last 5 as a guide for form, where they drew the last 2 and won the 3 before that. So, you know, they're sat in 19th place, opening up a tiny little gap between them and the drop zone. Sort of doing all right, to be fair, Hull. You know, I've got a little bit of a mini soft spot for Hull. They're not too far away from where I live, and I do know someone who he likes to go to different matches and stuff, and I went to see Hull a few times when they were in the Premiership. But obviously, I want to absolutely batter them. You know, I want to batter every team that we play because, you know, that's what you want to see as a fan of your club. I think it's going to be a sort of a 2-0 win, kind of a bit of a comfortable one, but not too comfortable in the fact that it's going to be, you know, 3, 4, 5. I think 2-0 could be the sort of scoreline that we see for this one. You know, Hull aren't a bad side. Keane Lewis Potter, one of their better players down on the wing. You know, they've had some fantastic players, Jared Bowen, Campbell Kosicki, that season where they went down. Those 2 left and they were absolutely, you know, they were done in. They were in big trouble, you know. So yeah, they're a team that we should be expecting to beat, but a team that, you know, they're not going to be a walkover, a team that just come and set up and try and, you know, damage limitation, a bit like Peterborough did. They're going to be a team who are going to try and go for it, but I do believe that we will get the better of them. We will get all 3 points, and it will be a fairly convincing sort of also by that 2-0 win there. If I had to go with scorers, I'd probably go with Grabban and Spence, why not? I'd love to see Spence score at least one more time before he could potentially be on his way back to the Riverside Stadium. But no, I mean, I'm confident for this game, and I think in these types of matches, you know, that if we want to be in the top 6, if we want to be where we're aiming to be at the end of the season, if we're really serious about getting there, it's teams like Hull at home. We need to be pushing aside, you know, a really, really convincing, incredible, really 4-1 win away at Swansea against a team that they're not a bad side. They've got some really good players. You know, Joel Parry, one of the best strikers in the division. And for the most part, we kept him quite quiet. It was only sort of an unlucky in our case, lucky in their case, kind of deflection off Yates' head, who I think, talking about Yates, he was fantastic at centre-back. So he looked so comfortable there, assured in himself, and, you know, going from playing CDM, or defensive midfielder, to centre-back, it was a revelation. Well, I wouldn't go as far as saying revelation just yet, but it was you wouldn't have known. Not, you know, if you didn't realise he played high up the pitch, sort of in a defensive midfielder role, you wouldn't have known, because he just looked so comfortable, so assured, and, you know, he loves to get stuck in and put in a tackle. So, you know, that part of his game was never going to be a worry, but it was just sort of positioning, maybe the comfortability, bringing the ball out from the back, and he just looked natural. You know, you didn't really notice him too much in there, and he was just solid and assured, and you know, accompanied with Worrell and McKenna. If we do need to see him sat in that 3 at the back, I think he'll be absolutely fine. You know, with 2 really good players either side of him for this level, you can't complain. And he looked really, like I say, really confident, really comfortable there, and I think that was fantastic. You know, looking at some of the other players on the pitch, Johnson was man of the match for me in that one. I think, from what I saw, he was dazzling, really, down that right hand side, caused them so many problems, and it was quite weird the reception he got. He was sort of booed and jeered a bit by their fans, even though he is a Wales regular, first team regular there. So it was a bit weird, but, you know, fair enough. Or, you know, or all's well in love and war, whatever they say. But yeah, no, I think in this Hull game, you know, if we can carry on that form and play like we did against Swansea, then there's no way that we can't win. That second goal was absolutely sublime. The way that, you know, Spence and Johnson worked like clockwork down that right-hand side, knew exactly when to play the pass, what weight to put it on, and the weight of ball across from Johnson to grab him was exceptional, really. And it was just a beautiful goal to see. It was great to see Cafu on the score sheet, Zinchenko adding to his tally. My mind's gone blank as to who scored the other goal. Johnson, Cafu, Zink. No, it was Johnson. It was Johnson. Yeah, that's it. When Attai Tutu had his shot and it was fumbled by Hamer and he tapped it in. But yeah, to see that, you sort of see Houghton style play and no one would be following in, no one would be running in, sort of putting the goalkeeper under pressure. They'd sort of just have accepted he'd got it and moved backwards and sort of got back into shape. So to see him there on his toes, getting ready to put the ball in the back of the net was brilliant, and I think that was great to see. But yeah, in this game, if we can have that same sort of intensity levels, same sort of teamwork and players playing on the same sheet like Spence and Johnson for that second goal, it'll be fantastic. Hopefully we can be like that from the off. Obviously the first half was a bit not dry, but we weren't as good as we could have been. There was one good chance with Zinchenko where it did get deflected wide, but I've noticed this in a few games under Cooper, really. You sort of look at maybe was it Blackpool at home? Actually, no, not Blackpool at home, that's a bad example. Barnsley away, Bristol City away, sort of games where we've come out victorious. We've sort of been a bit slow off the mark. First half has kind of been 0-0. Preston, Peterborough at home. It's sort of been a quiet first half, and then we've picked things up in the second. So if we can be like that from the off, then I think we'll be a really dangerous side, and teams will really start to fear us. But in this one, I'm going to go with 2-0 Forest, and I'm going to go with a fully unchanged lineup. I think Yates at centre back can really work. It's good to get Garner in there and praise his recent form. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with a sort of an unchanged lineup for me. I think Asai Tutu looked good. Hopefully he's fit enough to play another game. I think he looked pretty assured down that left hand side. But yeah, no, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with an unchanged lineup. I'm going to go with 2-0 Forest, and hopefully we can continue this incredible run under Cooper. So yeah, if you did enjoy, smash the like button. Let us know down in the comments what you think the score will be, who you think will score the goals, and who you think should be playing. And yeah, thank you for watching. Subscribe if you're new, and come on, you Reds.